Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, free enterprise friendos, and welcome to this awesome match between DarkKobold and Starman, which is one of the last matches of the round of 32. Ah! I'm Oscar424, and I am joined by the ever awesome and fantastic good old Smapey. Smape, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great, and how couldn't I be after that kind of an introduction? Thank you so much, Oscar. Super happy to be here on Elimination Sunday. We have got a good one here for you. DarkKobold taking on Starman, both of them with one game to their credit. Winner moves on, loser sees the end of their tournament, and that Palom start has got to have both of our runners excited here.
Agreed. I'll just do a quick shout out and point to the objectives number 4 and 5. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Visit Rose's mother. 5 is a little questionable, but still, say hi.
It's a little less happy Mother's Day in that situation.
I had to pause for a second. It's like, did it say Rydia's mother or Rose? Okay, it's Rose's mother. We're fine. We're good.
Yeah, not a lot of happy endings for some mothers in this game, but make sure you wish your mother a happy one here today. We mentioned the Palom starts. That's going to be some good power right out of the bat for our runners. They just need to get a couple levels on him, and he gets those tier 2 elemental spells. We got a boss hunt, and we've got a character hunt. Always good to see that there's a Cecil in your seed when you know that Excalibur is going to be in that key item pool.
Agreed. And as a reminder, there are 2 characters that said, you know what, I'm good today. I'm just going to take a rest. So yeah, having Cecil, fantastic. As mentioned in chat, the question is, how much burring are we going to see Cecil doing? Like you said, the Excalibur is on the table, and there's also the obligatory selling item of the Crystal Sword that may or may not make an appearance today.
Yeah, it would be a complete flex to sell your Crystal Sword on this flag, since you cannot make any money from sales. For those a little unfamiliar with the bracket flags here, you get some seed money at the beginning of the game, anywhere between 20,000 and 80,000 gil. That is basically all you have for the start of the race. Everything else has to come from battles. Chests that would normally have money will give you 0 gil instead, and nothing can be sold for money. So you have to be very, very careful on how you ration your supplies early in the game.
Agreed. And another thing is, with the different kits that our character, oh wow, words are hard, but our players can start with, they have to really pay attention to what's in them. It's not the really nice kit with the dwarf axe and the 10 rune rings from the Swiss. It's a little bit more random, and it can be really good. I've seen cursed rings dropping them, and I've also seen pretty much nothing. So this start can be very wildly different each and every seed, especially, like you said, with that gil. I mean, depending on how generous our restreamer was, either they can just go hog wild and buy whatever the heck they want, or they're going to have to be really stingy from the get-go.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. One of the nice benefits of a Palom start is mages in Free Enterprise typically don't need to be as amazingly geared as their melee counterparts. Melee characters kind of live and die by whatever weapon you're able to find for them. Mages, on the other hand, really are reliant on getting those levels so they can hit those breakpoints when they unlock new and more powerful spells. So Palom isn't going to necessarily need anything amazing from the start, but if we get something like one of those nice wisdom increasing rods or some of the gear like that, you can really see his magic get kicked up to the next level.
Otherwise, I mean, depending on what, again, I really can't talk today, Smapey. It's because you're here. I'm kind of a little bit starstruck right now.
Yeah, I have an aura of incompetence about me. It's fine.
That's me on the daily, but we are starting. So we do have our Quack Kid, and okay, so Smapey, once we find out what Karate Man gives us, and it's a ninja shirt with a change rod, which is nice and a lot of money. So if you look at the objectives, and it says get Cecil, why, Smapey, is our tracker not pushing that button for number 5?
Well, because you have to get Cecil. You can't just give him Cecil. You gotta earn it. We don't actually get the objectives until after this scene, so the objective system doesn't kick in until the opening cutscene ends. So you have to actually earn that Cecil from playing the game. Cecil as your starting character or Cecil as your accompanying character does not count. So that does mean, though, that we can get a Cecil online earlier if that Cecil objective is actually hidden away somewhere nasty, like the giant We can still utilize Cecil if we find a good weapon for him. We could actually have an interesting case where we end the game with 4 of the 5 objectives done, Cecil never found, and he's still in the endgame party.
Okay, heck, I did not even realize that it's because of the objectives not appearing until after that cutscene, so I feel very educated right now.
That's always the rationale I've been told.
Hey, that's smarter than anything I would have said, so it works.
Nice stuff already in this watery past dive. We saw a Gaia Drum, a Silkweb. Silkweb, always great to hold on to for Zeromus. A great way to nerf him early and get that speed down.
Ooh, that big bomb and the dancing daggers those are really nice finds. This is a very generous watery pass, especially for our early game, well, damage dealing period. So we'll see, because Pelham can't equip the dancing dagger. I know he has the change rod available, but in a pinch, could he do that?
Yeah, it's especially useful right at this moment when you don't have those tier 2 elemental spells on Palom, so its damage really isn't online yet. Give him that dancing dagger for a single fight, and he's going to be a-okay. Both of our runners heading over to Hobbs here. They're feeling comfortable with the items they picked up that they can do at least the one fight here. This is going to give the benefit of an additional character and getting that initial level on Palom that he needs to really start slingshotting his way through.
And even nicer, that Cecil did come equipped with a black sword. That is the best option that they could have gotten. So we've got a surprising amount of damage available for us right now.
Yeah, that black sword, it's the Deathbringer sword that you get from the King Evelyn in the updated translations. Can take care of some fights very, very easily with that swoon proc that it has. If the boss lacks the boss bit, attack from Cecil can just instantly KO it. Even beyond that, you can see doing decent damage in the 150 damage range there, which is not too shabby at this early stage of the game.
It looks like on Hobbs, we are getting our very first dose of vanilla 3 minutes into this, with Yang being guarded by a pale dim, which, ironically, given the black sword and the dancing dagger, can be a little rude, especially if you just use a basic fight command. But I think our runner should be able to handle that just fine.
Yeah, and with that elemental protection that Pale Dim has, this is actually one of the fights where you want to be using the dancing dagger with Palom instead of anything else. And yep, getting through it without much trouble. Everyone's going to get that experience, but most importantly, Palom's going to get it. And as you can see, getting that Ice 2, Fire 2, Lit 2, he is good to go.
Fire Claw is definitely a nice pickup for Yang. We don't know what the equipment that Yang started off with is yet, but something that was pointed out by Morpheus in chat, DarkKobold opted to use that Gaia Drum in that fight, whereas Starman decided to hold on to it. So we'll see if that has any type of factor in with some upcoming fights. Oh, on the way around? Hey, well, okay, I can't read, all right? It's Sunday. So DK held it, Starman used it. Words are hard, y'all.
And yeah, that is definitely important. The Gaia Drum does a lot of damage, but most importantly, it does area damage. So it can be very useful on fights where that HP is spread out amongst multiple targets. There's a lot of incentive to use your attack items early, because they very quickly are going to get you're going to get to HP values where they're really not going to matter. And I think using it early right here, right before Palom really has his spells ready to go, is a pretty strong move. Of course, if we do run into one of those dangerous multi-target spells, then yeah, that's going to be an advantage for still having that Gaia Drum in your inventory.
DMC actually had some surprisingly good stuff with that wizard shirt. There was a power staff, so if we get, like a Palom or something, she can start Porum, she can start bonking things. And a wind spear, which would be a really nice spear or a really nice dart, depending on who joins the party first. And it did look like Tybalt Claw / Charm Claw is in effect for today, so that got turned right into that Fire Claw.
Yeah. Charm Claw has very, very poor accuracy on it, so not a lot of people like to use it if there's anything else available. Ooh, there's a Dwarf Axe. That is a quick way to back row Cecil once he becomes a paladin. And if we find a Cane, that's the only way to back row him outside of some very esoteric glitches.
Now, with the claws in particular, they don't really give much for damage. They're essentially just exploiting various weaknesses and whatnot, right?
That's correct. You're absolutely right. That's kind of sort of Yang's niche. The way dual wielding attacks are calculated in this game, if any of your two weapons gives you an attack a damage bonus against whatever you're fighting, then the whole attack gets that. So swapping around claws to meet whatever elemental weaknesses you're up against is a very, very strong play to get a lot of damage out of Yang.
Oh, okay. Starman just picked up a mute dagger. Now, what he doesn't know is that was a fantastic pickup for the boss in the Antlion Cave, Ashura. Ashura's a mage, and mages don't like things like mute daggers, so he just got a nice influx of damage without even realizing it.
Yes, indeed. That's going to be a lot of damage. Speaking of a lot of damage, I believe we saw a bluffed up Palom on DarkKobold's side, one-shotting Asura there. That's another great way to take her on without having to deal with her counterattacks.
And from that Ashura, we did get our very first key item of the day, and that is the Baron Key. So we do have access to some gated shops and, well, 2 boss fights, a character, well, 3 boss fights, a character, and 2 key items, depending on when they want to check those out.
Yeah, I love an early Baron Key like that. You can get into there's a good tendency to run into the situation where you're kind of out of checks to make on the overworld, and you're not quite feeling powerful enough to take on stuff in the underworld, and it can be kind of awkward to decide what to do next. The Baron Key really kind of extends your lifetime, as it were, on the overworld. Gives you some nice experience from those bosses there, and especially in a situation like this where we have both a boss check and a character check on the table. Baron can be very, very profitable in that way.
So I just wanted to clarify with our restreamer, Esco. I wanted to make sure that things were actually randomized this seed. That was a vanilla octo, so just shake it up a little bit more, and we'll get on our way to football, at least on DK's side.
Well, I gotta say for Escorian that it's, it can be very loud to shake those dice to randomize a seed, and Bob just letting his mom sleep in for the day. That's totally fine.
That makes perfect sense. Now we just need to see Gauntlet here, and that would just be funny. But I'm also a horrible person. Meanwhile, we do get to see what is going to be at the football location. I had a moment of panic when I saw the robe.
I was like, that's a robe, not the right color.
Ooh. Well, I mean, it's 5 enemies. It's close.
It's something like that.
Something.
You gotta get through those gas to get to Mylon, but much easier.
But yeah, Mylon and Friends shouldn't be terribly, terribly bad here. Those lit ones could hurt just because of, well, character levels. But otherwise, yeah, Fire 2s. Those are going to do some good amount of work against this rogue.
Yeah, this is one of the few situations in the game where those lit ones from Mylon can actually be something of a threat, just when HP values are low like this. But as long as Mylon keeps targeting Yang like that with his 400 plus HP, yeah, perfectly fine.
Starman definitely using that 68,000 he started off with by getting the wonderful Thunderclaw.
What is so great about that Thunderclaw?
There are so many bosses that are weak to lightning. Oh, that was a cute cabin. I've never seen a cabin as a reward.
With how deep cabins are sometimes buried in this flag set, I'm taking it. So we're getting the boon to get cabins here. So you know what? Thank you, Fabool.
What? But I think the real reward is that looting DarkKobold did. That was a heroine robe. Granted, there isn't a single character in the party that can use it right now, but that was a heroine robe.
Yes, heroine robe, big pickup. If you want to turn one of your frail little mages into a tanking, frontlining powerhouse, heroine robe is definitely the way to do it, giving you massive bonuses to strength, agility, and vitality at the cost of all your casting stats. It's a really cool item. Lets you have a lot of flexibility on how you decide to build any of the 3 women that you can get in your party in this game. And yeah, we might be able to see maybe some Archer Rosa going on if we are able to find her somewhere.
It's a great item when you can use it. It's always the really nice items. It's like, oh sweet, I have this that I can't use.
It's a great item until you forget that you have it on and you try to do a Cure 3 with Rosa and it hits for less than 100.
I've done that more times than probably most people. I like how in chat's also commenting on the fact, like, here, thanks for defending our castle. Go camp outside.
Why don't you go camping? Like, take some time off. Ooh, early Baigen. Now this spot is very, very weak physically, so this shouldn't be as bad as Baigen can be early on. Yeah, he flat out missing Palom there with the defense bonus in the back. Still an annoying fight. This is definitely one of those fights, though, where having that Gaia drum would be wonderful.
Now, is it a spot where those arms will recover quickly? Or is it pretty much you're good as soon as you get rid of the arm?
That I'm not certain. Seems to be moving at relatively decent speed, so he should be able to get the arms back up. But I think DarkKobold's just going to leave one of the arms dead so that he will never recover them, which is a very, very fine strategy.
Yeah, especially a spot that's not the most punchy. Yeah, I can't fault him for that. Starman also gave me good news about the Heron Row, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed and amazed that both runners took those chests there. I haven't seen too many people take those chests in this bracket stage, so the fact that they both did and they both got pay dirt is pretty impressive.
Yeah, there's a lot of different looting philosophies when it comes to this particular flag set where, you know, treasure isn't really massively abundant. A lot of people like to loot early to try to get something to, you know, give them that power they need early in a seed. And then we see the complete opposite end of the spectrum. We see runners that don't even touch treasure until they get to high area areas with high level loot. And, oh, is that our Dark Imps? That is our Dark Imps.
It's our Dark Imps. How? Okay, so... Oh, I just thought of something with the black sword. Why is Cecil with the black sword kind of interesting here?
Well, because these Dark Imps do not have the boss bit. They're actually just regular old Dark Imps that you can find in random encounters. So Cecil can proc that ability on his black sword and kill them instantly. Didn't happen though, so DK is just going to open up a can of Gaia Drum. And doesn't flat out kill them, but they are very, very close to death now.
Yeah, getting those different commands like the swoon, the charm, like case in point, swoon, it can be kind of tricky. You have to pretty much. There's a specific timing that DK was looking for, and that's why he held off on using that until he saw specific Dark Imps actually attacking. But that made that fight look pretty easy, if you ask me.
Yeah, and very good about getting Palom up to get the experience for this fight. You want to, and yeah, that's it right there. Palom has Virus. That is a major increase in power for him. Fantastic single target damage spell that is going to carry him into the end game, and that means he is that much closer to learning Quake, which is when Palom really becomes a force of destruction.
What level does Palom get Quake? Is it like 22?
See, I play this game from the heart. I don't do this numbers thing. I just do what feels good, and typically it feels good for Palom to be getting Quake about one fight past all the fights on the overworld, which, you know, sure, 20-something.
It's the fight after the fight you needed it.
Exactly. Moonblaze says 23, and Moonblaze knows a lot more about this game, so I'm going to trust that. And that is Moon Axis. That's a Dark Crystal.
That is perfect timing that Moon gave you that answer. And actually, ironically, since we have Moon Axis, it's nice to find Antlion here. Antlion, although one of the very early bosses in the game, if Antlion goes to the moon and says hi, that is a terrifying fight, because that bug punches hard.
Yes, he does. He is one of the scarier late game bosses. So yeah, you're absolutely right. We've already seen some of the scary late game bosses taken care of on this Ordeals fight. Baigen and Antlion both are just really nasty when scaled up. So runners probably breathing a sigh of relief that they're not going to have to deal with that. Not that there aren't plenty of other trolley bosses that can show up late.
Not quoting any turtles or anything. Unfortunately for Starman, he did end up taking a wipe to these Dark Imps, which, again, given how punchy they are, it's not surprising, because, yeah, they punch really hard.
Yeah, and Starman does not have the benefit of that Gaia drum that DarkKobold had, so is going to have to struggle a little bit more to get through this. Cecil's down, so we can't rely on any lucky procs from that Black Sword, and yeah, this is looking a little bit ugly. I do like that he opted to put his entire team in the back row to take advantage of that defense multiplier from the back row. It can actually, you would think it's just halves the damage, but just the way defense is rolled in this game, it ends up being way more than just half damage that you take in the back row. But yeah, this looks like it might be another reset, unfortunately.
Now, was there a reason that Yang was using looked like the Thor rages there? 'Cause I think he used 2 of them.
Probably just because Yang can't do any physical damage from the back row.
That is fair.
But yeah, running into that high magic defense at this spot and not able to pierce it, unfortunately.
So one thing I noticed is that particular spot, it's so rude compared to so many other spots. Just no.
Yeah, there's a lot of fights you can basically just alpha strike because you're, getting your attacks in either alongside or slightly before the enemy does. And it's very interesting to see just how a simple back attack can really throw a wrench into a lot of that because you're taking guaranteed 1 attack from the boss. And depending on agility, it could be multiple. And by the time your turn comes around, you could be in a situation like this where, Dark Knight Cecil is in critical HP and you're trying to catch up to get to a part where you're stable enough to actually deal damage.
Agreed. And Yang is using that big bomb, which is doing a good amount of damage. And hopefully Pelham will be able to bluff up enough to do additional damage. Meanwhile, on the flip side of things, DarkKobold says, yes, I have the Darkness Crystal, and let's go check some things out. Let's probably check the Lunar Dive, see what character is there. There is a gated shop up there, which could be our first potential sighting of sirens. So we'll see where he goes.
Starman still struggling here. I believe he's just 1 cast away from getting through this with Pelham. Okay, yeah, that kick took out 2 of them. It should be through now.
Hitting that's a nice self summon. Yeah, hitting Yang right there was very, very beneficial.
Come on, hang in there.
Let Dim hit Yang! Let Dim hit Yang!
Got him, and nice. Through. Very nice, Starman's part. Cecil down for the fight, but that's fine. He's about to get reset to level 1, so his experience doesn't matter. And he's going to be back in here with his first objective on the board. And let's see who our Lunar Princess is today.
Well, that's character.
It is. I kind of like Sid. He is obviously not a top tier character, but he has a couple of advantages here. Obviously, that high HP is a godsend in a lot of different circumstances. You run up against Dark Knight Cecil as a fight, he can really tank that. And, he's got decent enough attack power going into the mid game, and then can kind of transition into an anchor if you find a curse ring to slap on him. He makes a perfect anchor for Zeromus because he's still going to have that hit points, still going to be able to tank a flare or a big bang and throw items around.
Did both of them find the Dwarf Axe, or did just Starman?
I believe it was just Starman. Starman looted out Antline, and I think DarkKobold went mostly through there without looting, so...
Gotcha.
I could be wrong. I don't see it anywhere in the inventory as you scroll.
Esco did mention that DK... Oh, yep, DK does in fact have it.
Then don't listen to me. Generally good advice.
No, that's me. It's just, I start talking, it's like, okay, no, we're gonna need this. You're the smart one, Smapedy.
No, I just play one on stream. I just play a smart guy.
Well, we're on stream.
I used to work at a Holiday Inn Express. That's not even a joke. That's actually real.
I mean, I started off in a GameStop, so it
there you go. So yeah. Power to the players.
That works so well.
There's old man Tella. Speaking of useful anchors, I actually like Tella here that we've already been through ordeals.
Yep.
We have Darkness Crystal. D-Machine, not exactly a fantastic grind option since you cannot escape the D-Machine, but we are looking for Cecil. There is the possibility of going all the way through the Giant just to make that character check at the end and get experience on the table. It's not a great option, but it's an option.
It's definitely one of those. Ooh, that's a no, bad boss. Maybe let me tell you how much I hate Plague.
Okay, the mic is yours. Talk about how much you hate Plague.
I always get Plague in the worst spots, and I hate it, and it's always killing me, even though I don't like it. That's all.
Good talk.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming to Oscar's TED Talk on Plague.
Like a giggle talk.
The good damage coming out from that virus, 1,000 damage a hit, is big. This spot has 4,000, so, oh wow, perfectly timed there, getting the count right back on 0. Should be good to go here for the rest of this fight.
I'm pretty sure DK is probably thinking, I wish these two bosses were flipped, especially because the first one has so much less HP and 12 Bahamut is free.
Yeah.
But still, DK was able to get through it and is getting both an old man and a key item that is going to be a hook.
It's beginning to look a lot like a hook seed.
This is going to be fun.
Nice thing about the hook, of course, is you get the free character check in Evelyn Cave there. Still looking for a white mage for this team. I think that would be like the ultimate find, would be a Rosa or even a Porum in there. Other than that, team is actually looking pretty good, I gotta say.
That's a shop. Woo! You have Soma drops, Star Veils, Mute Bells, Suck. Okay. That is a good shop right there. And it looks like DarkKobold is answering a question in chat of, you have the hook, you have the Baron Key. Where do you go first? And DarkKobold says, you know what? Let's go get a repeat of a lot of items we already have and go to the Baron Key route.
Yeah, don't blame this check whatsoever. Like I was talking about earlier, I really love that early Baron Key just for this reason. It's another place to go in the overworld. So much potential value here. A little bit less so since we've already found that Dark Imps, but we do still need to find that Cecil. The XP is good. We can do a little bit of looting in Baron Castle. If that is your desire to get a couple more items, there's just a lot of value to be found behind a Baron Key.
Let's see here. We do have Starman getting his Sin and going, okay, that's not quite what I was looking for, but we'll take it, and then we'll see where he goes from here. I'm almost kind of surprised that no one made a cheeky K value check, mostly because I enjoy making cheeky K value checks and squealing every time I see King Queen there.
I think if I were running this, I'd be a little more tempted to if that Dark Imps was still on the board as something we needed to find. Gotcha. But with all of the boss checks out of the way, I think that kind of reduces that the value of that. But yeah, no, I agree. It's always a power play when somebody goes in there and makes that look, finds a free fight, and gets a free key item and experience out of it. Completely right.
Yeah, speaking of free, this karate fight's actually pretty free when you have a Paladin Cecil. You watch him kick you twice, and then Cecil goes, okay, bops Karate Man on the head, Karate Man goes, ouch, and problem solved.
Indeed, and there is the ouch. Good old storyline triggers, you gotta love them.
Now, is that, if there were no free bosses, would that ouch be gone?
Yes. No ouchies for you. I think he might actually still say ouch, but it doesn't end the fight. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, that is one of those triggers that is eliminated in no free bosses.
With that ouchie out of the way, we get to see who has truly usurped Baron Castle, and that is going to be... Well... hello, my lord. Spider-Man meme?
Vanilla, like...
Spider-Man meme right there.
Question in chat, does no free bosses mean you have to do full HP damage to King, Queen, Evelyn, and Water Hag 2? That is correct. Any of those fights that would have normal storyline trigger endings, you would have to do them normally. It also means all of the bosses that do not have the boss bit have the boss bit added, so there's no instant kills on them.
There's a very nice look through cast from DarkKobold, just showing the power of having a fully online tele fighting that Odin, because that Odin with the arm already up, that was a very short amount of time before that arm was come crashing down, and so is everyone else's HP. I'm pretty sure that they would not have survived that Zentetsuken.
Not at all, but very quickly taken care of. And ooh, there's an edge. I'm very curious if DarkKobold's going to take him. Let's see.
Because they haven't found. It looks like they are taking him for Sid, because we haven't found any gear for Edge aside from claws, right?
That's correct. We have that Neki flag on, and one of the normal advantages of Edge is, he comes in at level 30 with a full kit of high tier gear. He's got that black belt key. He's got some katanas already ready to go. Not great ones, but he also's got that headband. Just already, ready to be used right out of the gate. He takes a big nerf when you have Neki on, because he doesn't come with any of that, just a single weapon. So we haven't seen him being used as much, but he still comes with all of that utility. The ability to steal, the ability to throw some ninjutsu magic to take care of low-tier groups. Oh, hello.
Well, so this was a fantastic check on DK's side, and actually, in addition to a lot of that, I was reminded in chat that the starting quote-unquote key item was a ninja shirt. And with the amount of mute daggers we've been finding, our Edge surprisingly has a good amount of gear to him.
Yeah, that's a very good point. The ninja shirt maybe not the most desired piece of equipment for Edge, even though the game sort of positions it as his ultimate armor. It has a ton of magic defense, which makes it really useful against Zeromus, but doesn't give any strength like a black belt does. I believe it gives 3 agility, but still better than anything else, any other option we would have for Edge now, and no problem slapping it on him.
And all that being said, yeah, that X-Cal is going to go burr, and that's, we have found the second Mylon of the day with Mylon Zed.
I like that DarkKobold's taking this on, because this is very doable. He's going to hit hard, but all he's going to do is physical attacks. And yeah, throwing that Fire Claw on Edge, always remember Edge can use claws, can take advantage of that same property we talked about with Yang, where if you have at least one weapon that does elemental damage appropriate, your whole attack does. And if you can get some blinks out with that Tela, which is going to be hard with Tela on the ground, but that would probably be the key to getting through this early.
I was about to say your timing was impeccable on that.
I don't think you can call it commentator's curse when it happens while you're talking. And yeah, going to reset out just a little too much to take on right now, but I appreciate the attempt.
So yeah, moving away from that. Oh, let's see where he is. Go up. Yep, it looks like DarkKobold is going to be checking out the hook route. Now, there are a very scant few options left that we could potentially pull a Magma Key from. I don't think our runners have checked the Mist Cage, and probably my favorite Galaxy Brain check is the Mega Sister spot. It's paid off once for me. And you know what?
I will never forget one of the earlier community races we had in Free Enterprise years and years ago, where there was actually a required demist at Maga Sisters with underground access, and I think over half the field forfeited that one just because nobody realized what you had to do.
Minty, I can't remember if it was Swiss or Brackets of LHL, and to get the pink tail, you had to go to Maga Sisters, fight D-Mist, go to Rydia's mom, who had the Earth Crystal, and go back to Tower of Zot and follow a very long chain to get the pink tail. It was mwah.
That sounds beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, there are Bacchuses here in Evelyn Cave. Cecil is gonna like that.
No, I don't think I saw any sirens in there, so that's it. Usually this shop, because it has 2 spots to potentially hit those sirens, it's a good place. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna you know what? Fine. Okay, sirens, show up. That's cool.
Even if they weren't there, though, we do still have that Edge. He can steal some sirens out of the Tower of Babel. One of the nice utility options for him. But yeah, this seed's going a little easy on our runners when it comes to availability of items.
I think this seed is being written as we're speaking.
It's self-aware. It can hear us, and it's changing on the fly.
So, Evil Wall into Ogo Pogo, huh? Because I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, everything's been too easy so far. I agree. We need something like that. Maybe put some Hurdle Turtle in there, too.
Ooh. Would you rather see Ogo Pogo or Turtle at the Ruby spot?
These are the same picture.
It's like, I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
Yeah, like corporate wants you to see the difference between these two pictures. These are the same picture.
This is sadness. Oh, man.
Honestly, though, probably Cagnazzo, just because I have a lot of characters with access to light elements. You've got Tella, you've got Palom, you've even got Edge because he learns Blitz just before that fight. Ooh, there's a Sparkle and there's a Cecil. Well now.
So, there's a Cecil, which is cool. You know who could be a Sparkle?
There's a lot of fun things that could be a Sparkle.
There's an Ogo Pogo that could be a Sparkle.
We'll have to see. I've got to imagine we're going to be taking safety saves after the King Queen Evelyn spot because nobody wants to take a chance on what that is.
Now, as being brought up in chat, we've seen Pale Dim and we've seen Plague. Care to explain why it'd be kind of funny if King Queen spot ended up being Wyvern, or the Ruby spot ended up being Wyvern?
Because I hate Wyvern.
Do I get to explain something?
Please do.
Hey!
I don't know what you were leading on to.
Gated underground access!
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay.
So there's 3 bosses that if you see on the hook route or guarding the hook, that tells you there is a magma key somewhere that's in a happy place and not underground. Those are Valvalis, that's Golbez, and that's Wyvern. Just because those are heckin' rude bosses that need to not exist in the face of the universe. So, if either of those bosses ends up being any of those 3, that would tell our runners, hey, you know, you could go this hook route, or you can get back up Overworld and find that magma key that's available. And it's not gonna be on the moon either. It would be somewhere on the planet.
So let me ask you, as an elite free enterprise runner, unironically, if you go and you're down here and you get to King Queen Evelyn and one of those gated bosses show up, do you try to power through, or do you reset out and look for that magma key instead?
I take the Brave Sir Robin approach, depending on which one it is, and nope, right out of there. I have it, Tella. Bye.
We did pick up a Bahamut out of that Mad Ogre chest. No Rydia in sight, but whenever I've got a Bahamut, I'm kind of looking out for her because that will basically just let you roll through the rest of the seed. Starman gets through the Odin spot. Tail. Whoa!
Wow, that could be massive.
Yeah, Starman has been kind of lagging behind DarkKobold here for a bit, but suddenly things might have just shifted right back to him. That's an extra objective he's going to have on DarkKobold here, and that can be huge when you're hunting for that last objective in the late game. So, big power through there by Starman.
And here's the thing with a lot of runners: like if there's a spot that they can't or they don't get through on the first try, and they might say, you know what, it's not worth it to give up the time. Oh no, what is this? It's not quite what I wanted, but I'll take it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say. Oscar, what have you done? I refuse to believe Ascorian is responsible for this. He's a nice person.
I'm not.
There's a Masamune from the Pink Tail. That's huge for that edge.
So, I wonder how many things DarkKobold's gonna be journeying against this Nopro. But when you see boss, and you bounce off of it, a lot of runners might say, you know what, I don't want to concede the additional time of taking that boss. I will fade it, or I will save it for like a last check. We've seen it happen, and it has burned people. It's burned people in community races. It's burned people in this tournament hard. So the fact that DK bounced off of that pink tail, that could play a huge factor in, because say they both go through the hook route, and that'll put DarkKobold at 2 objectives, and Starman literally 1 away from go mode with Darkness Crystal in hand.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is just a particularly nasty spot for Ogopogo in general with this team composition, because, you know, a lot of power is coming from that Palom. You can't really cast spells against Ogopogo because of that blaze counter. You don't have reliable healing to keep up with all of the damage coming out from those waves. It's just, ugh.
I mean, here's the question. How badly do you want that X-Cal?
That is an option on the table. We could dart that X-Cal and try to get through this.
Because that is about... Oh wait, no, I thought it was 8,000. I was corrected by Pasu. It's like 6,000 here. So it's not that there's a lot of HP in this spot. It's just the fact that it's Ogopogo. And Ogopogo just throws the script out the window.
Okay, that Berserk Cecil online now, doing good damage. The darts are doing good damage, and he's through. Excellently played by DarkKobold.
Wyvern! Come on, Wyvern!
I am with you. I want to see Wyvern here just because of what you mentioned earlier, of that meaning that there's a Magma Key available elsewhere.
Show us that cheeky Demas. Come on.
Yeah, in all likelihood, this is D-Lunar, but show me Wyvern. Show me Wyvern. Yeah, it's 50-50. It either is or it isn't.
Also, in chat, thank you. Yeah, I'll agree with that monster.
Where would Magma be then? It would mean, I think it would mean that either D-Mist is in Mist Cave because it hasn't been checked, or it is in the Tower of Zod, and yeah, it is D.
No! No! Run it back.
Yeah, this is that's still not a free fight, but substantially easier here. We have a lot of ways to do damage to them. If we want to trigger their ultimate script, Cecil can go crazy with that Excalibur and take advantage of their holy weakness. A lot of ways you can handle this.
So, yeah, do you try to take it out normally, or do you go Lunar Farago strats? At this particular
time, about how much DPS I have here. I don't think I would be able to outrace the frogs, so it would just make sense to set up for frogs.
I will let you explain Lunar Fragos.
Sure, we might be seeing it here soon, depending on what DarkKobold decides to do. But this was actually a strategy that was kind of discovered as a result of free Enterprise here. Late into the D-Lunar's AI script, they will use the breath attack, which is the same breath attack you get from the Malboros. Puts all sorts of nasty status effects on your characters, but it can be reflected like a spell. So if you have wall up on their characters and they go to breathe, then it gets reflected back onto them, and all of a sudden, they're turned into frogs. Much more manageable. They can't use any of their abilities anymore. Their defenses are tanked, and you can just easily waltz through the rest of the fight.
And there's the breath, and oh, the double Frogo. Well done.
Yeah, that's always good to see, because you're the reflected breaths are targeted randomly, so there is a chance that only one of them gets frogged because it picks the same target twice. Not the case here. Both D-Lunars got targeted, and this is just going to be easy to mop up here for DarkKobold.
Meanwhile, Starman getting the fantastic news of a Suitin Nope Noodle that they probably don't want to see right now.
Yeah, and Zoe Vermillion explaining in chat something I do want to point out. Very smart play by DarkKobold that we've seen a bit more as we've been relying on Cecil. Cecil has a really great cover ability. You can manually choose to cover an important target for to absorb physical attacks from them. The problem is if Cecil is berserked or using the parry skill, he cannot cover. So if you don't want to attack with Cecil, but you still want to get through his turn, you're kind of in a conundrum because you have to do one of those actions that is going to invalidate cover for the turn to get through. So what runners have been doing has been using Cecil's equipped item as an item. You can actually use any item as an item. Only certain items actually have an effect, and when you try to do it, the game says it doesn't have any effect, and Cecil's turn is wasted, which is good in this case because you just get through his turn, still cover, and not have to worry about him having to do something that might be detrimental to the rest of your strategy.
Can we shout out the fact that a frog is now driving a ship?
It checks out.
Yes, it seems legit. Also, Starman was able to get through Ogopogo on the first try, so he is able to get a little bit more time back from that fight. We have DarkKobold going through. We did see the top of tower boss, and speaking of aquatic creatures and where to find them, we have a turtle at the top of tower.
Yeah, kind of a nasty spot for him because the top of tower has a goodly amount of hit points. It's definitely doable, but it's not something I'm going to be eagerly rushing up to take on right now, especially with no tower key.
Agreed. Yeah, going to Dwarf Castle on DK's side, that's definitely a very popular check for the runners in this tournament. 2 bosses, key item, character. Coffins are really nice to find in the item shop. Charm Harp, not so much. But it's just a very highly condensed check, and compared to a lot of other things aside from the free march chest, it's kind of the better place to go, really.
Yeah, there's always that sort of feeling you get when you first go underground. It's like, okay, cool, I'm through the hook route. Now what do I do? Dwarf Castle has the easier bosses. It's 2 bosses for 1 key item, so it can be a little lengthy. You get the character as well. There's always that temptation to do a keyless tower. If you've got the tower key, I think tower is probably the quicker play. But yeah, I always a fan of doing these. Lots of experience to be had here. Get your characters ready for the mid game.
DarkKobold showing us the first boss in the Dwarf Castle, and that is a Mom Bomb. On the bright side, with Starman, we do see an additional pair of Froggos and a cute little black frog from Edge, which we found out Tella is a white frog. Yeah, I love that they all have their different colors. They're like Power Rangers for frogs and pigs. It's the cutest thing.
Now, one thing I don't actually know is the color of the frog based on the character or their current palette?
I think it's character or palette, because I don't know. You know what? I'm just happy to be here, chat, all right?
Me too. We're having a blast.
You know who else? What other 2 people are happy to be here, Smapey? Or at least probably shaking their head in shame and despair?
Who's that?
That would be our wonderful behind the scenes crew.
I mean, they're behind the stage too. They're behind
everything. Yes, go beat you. We have a Scorian who's doing the restream and has rolled this heckin' good fun time, and then tracking we have Iker. Smapey and I literally just get to sit here and talk and make each other laugh and giggle. It's great fun. Those 2 are making this look good and trying and making us, well. Anyway, so we're here too, but they're the ones doing everything awesome.
Yeah, just a major shout out to all the volunteers, the Free Enterprise restream team. We have gotten so many of these races broadcast, and we're going to have basically the entire rest of the tournament broadcast because we just have so many people willing to give up their time to give these runners the spotlight and that they deserve and show off their skills. So it's been a fantastic tournament so far, and that we owe a great chunk of that to everybody volunteering their time. So big thank you to everyone on the restream team.
Dark Knight Cecil in this spot be a form of French vanilla? Because it's normally Golbez?
I
Spoiler for those that haven't played Final Fantasy IV these past 20.
what, are they the same person?
I mean, they can be. If you don't know the plot, they can be. No,
I
just
think there has to be at least a couple of people playing Free Enterprise that have never played vanilla, and huge power to them.
I know one of them is in chat right now because they've admitted it, and they are a certain trash can dwelling marsupial. That is a very nice adamant rock coming from Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, that's big for DarkKobold because you got to remember he has not picked up that pink tail yet. So Starman has a little bit of an advantage there. I did not see what came out of the Feymarch chest over on Starman.
That was a red tail. We have a. Looks like our Starman is taking the miles per hour approach to things and getting his second tail.
That's a deep cut. I like that one.
I saw Flurry in chat earlier, so I had to give the hat tip. Like,
that's not fun, Feymarch. Dark Elf a little bit nicer to see, especially when you got Cecil with an Excalibur. Volvalis, nah.
Just it's no. Yeah, that'd be nice to have a cane or something.
It would, but even with Kane, that's a punchy spot, and getting that guaranteed physical every time you untornado her is difficult to deal with.
Okay, that actually brings up a good point with Valvalis. Are there times where you would actually prefer her to stay in her bugle form? Because I'm hungry.
Bugle form, I love that. There are times when you definitely should, but every time I have a Kane, I just feel like a genius because Kane jump, and I probably should be leaving her there just so that I can get the more consistent AI pattern out of her.
Let me tell you about a flag called Push B to Jump. Am I gonna blow your mind with this one? Me talking about a flag that I've literally only played once.
Ooh, I like those hourglasses there. That does a couple of things. Combined with those sirens, that gives you an easy in on the gold dragon grinds up on the moon, which not only give you a ton of experience, but also a lot of money if there's something that you're looking to shop for. We mentioned money kind of scarce on this flag set. That's a good way to get it.
100% agreed there, and it looks like Starman is going into the meat change form, and honestly, I absolutely... Dark Elf is probably my favorite finely crafted boss in this game, just because he starts off really creepy looking in a really awkward, ergonomically unfriendly squat position and does magic, and then when he turns into a dirty noodle, he just starts punching hard.
Oh!
Well, there is a chocobo that you have access to, Starman.
Goodness gracious, sakes alive.
So, yeah, that Excalibur got demoted to Dart status.
Yeah, Dark Elf with some goods here. Maybe not progression, but Starman is probably feeling pretty good. Pinktail gave a Masamune, Dark Elf gave a Crystal Sword. And Asuka, I do have a question for you. What did Dark Elf shout out when he lost his bus fare?
What?
Me change!
I love it.
Starman gonna go check on Yang here and get that Sheila 1 check. Meanwhile, DarkKobold gonna go swap out airships here. So he has access to the hook and is gonna bring that hovercraft over to check on the Adamant Cave.
I can't. Meanwhile, Starman's definitely following suit. The difference is Starman's already been there once, and with the good stuff, with the Pinktail turn in already, yeah, we'll probably be getting potentially a double rat tail turn in the very near future.
Yeah, a little bit of a high five here from the runners. And this could be a potentially important rat tail check here, just based on what these runners have checked and what they have right now. Never mind, it's a spoon.
Excuse you.
Oscar, that flag isn't on.
It's a dart, though.
It is a dart. It is a dart. And alongside that Excalibur, that means we have some powerful ammunition if we run into something nasty like a high HP CPU or just holding on for Zeromus. The yeets are very much in vogue right now.
Yeah, that rat tail turning out to be spooning out all the damage for later on.
One of these days, Rivers and Board are going to follow my suggestion and change the dart command to yeet.
No, what needs to happen is, because I know there's I think there's a Z sprite that has a text bubble, but just every time Edge darts, text bubble, yeet. Stop it.
Luka-Key there is interesting. That is another check to be done here in the underground. So we've got that Luka-Key, we've got that keyless tower. We've already had some divergence here from the runners. DK has done Dwarf Castle. Starman has not, but Starman also has picked up a Crystal Sword, a Masamune, and is a one objective up on DarkKobold for completing that Odin and that Odin spot rather, and getting the pink tail in reward. So very, very interesting situation here.
Yeah, I mean it's so interesting knowing that Starman's literally one key item away from go mode. It's just, what is he gonna do? And it always brings up the question now that we're so close to getting go mode. The moon is looking more and more haunted, and I say that with an asterisk because, well, a lot of times the moon could be haunted except for the one or two remaining key items you're looking for.
Okay, this is very interesting here for DarkKobold. Went in and tried to do this fight earlier and couldn't do it. There's always the worry there that you might fade it because you did it, you checked it, you're going to go do other things and come back to it when you've run out of things to do. Has decided to go take care of the Odin spot now while he's on the overworld, and that is huge because we know that a third objective is waiting when he finishes this. It's much more powerful now, should be able to take this with very little problem.
Agreed, and this brings up a very interesting situation of if DarkKobold is able to defeat Mylon Zed and gets his pink tail. Now if our runners find the longer Starman potentially fades toward Castle, which thankfully he's not, and because of course I'm starting to talk, whatnot, that would have been interesting, because if he had faded it and then suddenly Legend Sword is found, well, the whole turns have tabled.
Yes, indeed, and this is big now. This means that our runners are essentially at complete parity. A single key item is all that they need to find. It can be one of two key items, either that Legend Sword or that Twin Harp is going to put them into go mode. And yeah, you are absolutely right. That moon is looking very, very barren right
now. I think I see what you did there that you don't see what you did there.
Well, I mean, here unlike the castle, I don't get the pun beyond that. I think you're just broken, Oscar. I think we need to reset you. Hang on.
Your puns are hitting from A to Z.
There's that pink tail, and as soon as that's turned in, that's a Masamune for DarkKobold.
But there was a question in chat that was asking about dupes. In terms of characters, otherwise this is going to be a chat that, well, doesn't matter that much anymore. Actually, no. Well, so, again, in this flag set, the no dupes is on. So, yes, we see a second Punch Mage. No, we cannot take the second Punch Mage because we already have one. We have Punch Mages at home. They're right there. But also there are two characters that just decided to nope right out. But there are the potential for 3 dupes total that we just can't do anything about because no dupes are on. The end.
Yeah, right you are.
Every time you say that, I immediately think of MXC.
I think that's probably where I picked that up from.
I believe it.
One thing to also point out, Zoe Vermillion brings up in chat, very good point. Since we have those darts, Volvalis is actually looking like a pretty good check right now. One of the advantages of the dart ability is it has 100% accuracy. So even if you might get reduced damage from some of the misses on Volvalis, you don't have to worry about with darting. And it's right next to a save point, so you can dart your X-Cal and your spoon, and if it doesn't pay off, reset and grab them back. Just scum it right back. So yeah, I think Zoe is absolutely right. That would be a really smart play here to hit that Volvalis up.
You know, what DK is showing us is another really interesting play is checking out the Luca key. Now you can actually go all the way to the end of this and see what the key item is without having to fight anything, including the boss that's defending it. So if this turns out to be Legend Sword or the Harp, cool, you're walking out of it, or you're walking out with that. If it turns to be any of the other key items that might lead to progress, then you're just kind of begrudgingly going, okay, fine, sure. But what's interesting about this particular spot from my boss standpoint is this boss fight can be kind of, well, annoying. There are certain bosses you don't want to see here. Like that wyvern, Seed! Like that wyvern!
Yeah, this is a particularly nasty spot to encounter bosses, especially since you have to create a second save point down there and go in. And if it's not a key, if it's a key item down there, but it's not one that immediately pays off, you start having to weigh, the time of dealing with this boss versus the time that, versus the gamble of whether what you picked up actually paying off or not. So yeah, this is always kind of an awkward spot.
And it's going to be very interesting with both of our runners heading to there. Let's see, we are getting the first check of the key item, and that is okay.
Well, no, never mind. There's no awkwardness now. You take that and you go.
Oh, come on, wyvern! Come on, wyvern!
Have a race.
Wyvern! Come on! That's not wyvern!
That isn't wyvern. That's the opposite of wyvern. That's as free as you get while not having the boss bit enabled.
That's
In fact, some of them don't have the
Colonel
boss bit.
Sanders playing chicken! Yeah, I win a different joke for that one.
So yeah, this is big. So our runners are both going to be in go mode now. DarkKobold has the time advantage right now. Starman has the gear advantage, has that crystal sword. Cannot underestimate how big of a difference that crystal sword makes, even above and beyond that Excalibur. It's just such an amazing weapon. It does so much damage so quickly, and it also frees that X-Cal up for throwing against Zeromus, which is going to be a quick, essentially a free nuke without having to sit through the animation time. So even though DarkKobold has the lead here, this is going to be down to the wire.
I mean, like, what do you do from a grind standpoint? It's just, how much do you grind, or how, well, pardon my limbo term, how low are you willing to go into the Z fight right now?
With a Crystal Sword Cecil, we've got Sirens, we've got Hourglasses, so obviously, grinding Gold Dragons or whatever other high experience fight on the moon strikes your fancy is attractive. We don't have a dedicated White Mage, but so you would want to go as high on damage as possible. See only one, maybe two big bangs. I would be thinking, yeah, mid to high 40s would be where I would feel comfortable. These runners might even go lower than that.
Now, Smapty, I've thought of the perfect way to get the two of us banned.
What's that?
Hear me out. So, in Threema Zone, there was a certain restreamer that was known for rolling so many ties to the point where his name was affectionately changed. Hey, Smapty, who is that?
I have no idea who you're talking about. This mystery person will remain a mystery now and forever.
No, that person was you. Hear me out. I've already rolled a tie in this tournament. They have to end within 3 seconds of each other.
It's definitely possible right now. I would not I would not discount that possibility with how close this is going, but gosh, this is okay. So yeah, DarkKobold looks like is gonna head out, not gonna do the eggs, or maybe is just buying some items before going back. I'm very curious how they're gonna approach their grinds here.
Oh yeah, that's right, Starman still has to forge. Heck!
Oh no, has DarkKobold forgotten where the sirens are?
Oh no.
I hope that's not the case. You never like to see a race go down like that.
I mean,
DK did buy sirens earlier. Okay, okay. It looked like he was looking for something in that shop. I wasn't sure what he was looking for. Getting 30 Cure 2s, 40 Cure 2s. I don't think we've seen Cure 3s anywhere. That might be the extent of your healing.
yeah, this is... I mean, the annoyance is the only real white mage you have in your party is your anchor, who's not going to do much of anything.
Yeah, and it's not as though you can level Tella up either, because we have not found a curse ring. You have to keep his agility low for him to function properly as an anchor. So you can easily get through this throwing Cure 2s. Cecil's really the only one who absolutely has to be berserked. You can maybe get away with berserking Cecil and Edge, since he's got that Masamune. And the other two are just throwing Cure 2s with every... Wow, there's Cure 3s. That's huge for Starman. Oh, that's huge for Starman.
That is massive. And that is not normally a shop you go to, especially if you don't have the magma key.
Yeah, so okay.
let's try to unpack this.
We've got the progressive shops on, so that you're more likely to get better items from the shop. So you're absolutely right. You don't normally check that. Another thing. Oh, there's our cabins as well.
Oh, heck. Oh, no, never mind. Whew, okay, continue.
It doesn't have to pass, so.
Oh, that's not important or anything.
But yeah, you have mentioned that there are two characters that are excluded from a seed, and you are guaranteed to have Cure 3s somewhere available in a shop if there are no white mages available in your seed. What if we are looking at a seed with Rosa and Porum are nowhere?
Oh, that'd be, well, it's funny for us, terrifying for them. Because they're not already probably terrified as it is.
Yeah, now this is a little less terrifying for Starman. This continues to be the theme, where Starman is a little bit better geared, a little bit better equipped than DarkKobold, even if DarkKobold is technically ahead right now. That Crystal Sword cannot be understated. Those Cure 3s cannot be understated. Cure 3s means you can essentially rely on one, maybe two chemists on your team and berserk everybody else. DarkKobold with only Cure 2s to heal is probably going to only be able to berserk up Cecil, and everyone else is going to have to dedicate their entire turns to Cure 2s to keep people above that Big Bang threshold.
And if you look at DarkKobold, it's that Palom is he going with the Palom anchor?
Very well could be. I can't imagine. Well, I'm gonna say if your only strat here, yeah, it's curious why he would be using have Palom down here instead of Tella. Might swap it out, might off Tella and then pick Palom up. Nope,
that's a Palom anchor.
So my guess here is that DarkKobold is thinking my only source of multi-target healing is Tella. We've got to level Tella up, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, what's unfortunate is, yes, both our runners are at 10 key items, which is going to make these grinds a lot more effective. These slingshotting capabilities are gone. That is just not here in this seed. So you can't just, positively yeet Tella up to some really good levels. He's just going to get the same amount of XP as all the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's actually two different types of grinds going on right now. You have the King Ryu's on DarkKobold side, and you have the Warlocks on the other. In this situation, which one is a little bit more time effective, do you think?
Well, Starman's probably banking the fact that he has all these mute daggers, and yeah, he berserked up Edge, has got a mute dagger in one hand, and is chewing through those Warlocks. The King Ryu grind is the big advantage there is they're vulnerable to weak and they're vulnerable to anti-dragon. But since Starman is thinking, I'm just going to keep Tele down this whole time, I don't want to deal with reviving him, casting weak, and then offing him, I need to save time. Then yeah, I absolutely see the value here in doing Warlocks instead, especially with all of that anti-mage kit he has.
Gotcha. I think I saw somewhere in chat, actually from our restreamer Esco, that DK might be out of life pots, which is, in a grind scenario, a very bad thing.
Yeah, those life potions might as well be experience potions when you're doing a grind. It's essentially twice the experience off of any monster. Old trick in Final Fantasy IV, whenever you're revived, the amount of hit points you're revived with is based on your vitality stat. And due to a developer oversight, every monster in the game has a vitality stat of 0. So when you revive them, they immediately die again because they're revived with 0 hit points. Even if it's happening behind the scenes, there's really no visual indication it's happening. But when the fight is over, you will see that you have gotten the experience for that monster twice, or sometimes 3 times. If you can buffer correctly, you can actually get 2 life potions on a monster at once. That is very, very nice.
And as a reminder, Final Fantasy IV is a finely crafted video game. Case in point.
Yeah, early Final Fantasies, even early, like most
early games.
Let's be real. Look beautiful on the outside, but they're like those, those beautiful like computer cases that are brought in for service, and the tech is looking and it's like, I don't see any problem, and they open the case and it's just roaches everywhere inside. That's like Final Fantasy. It works until you look deep. You look a little bit underneath the surface, and you realize that it's spit and prayers holding everything together.
It's the guy walking in with the pizza and everything is on fire and people swinging from ledges. Just like, oh. But Starman, it looks like he's done. He is on a mission to walk to a different spot to use sirens. False alarm, everybody. False alarm.
A little bit.
Take a break.
Yeah, he is definitely in position here to be able to take this on. We've got 3,200 on Young, 2,400 on Cecil. Very comfortable numbers there. Edge is at 1,900. It's a little shaky. He does have that ninja suit though, which does have a lot of magic defense on it, so he should be okay for a big bang. This one King Ryu fight is going to put everybody in a much more comfortable position.
It looked like Starman definitely moved over to the King Ryu grind just because they were, I believe, potentially out of meat bells, which kind of turns that Warlock fight into a little bit of an annoying situation.
Yeah, you've never seen tier 2 elemental spells hit as hard until you fought those Warlocks. DK is making the move. Starman's going to be right on his heels. They might be going into the Zeromus fight side by side, which is crazy. Starman going to have a bit of an advantage just from the gear, but this is a race, everybody. This is going to come right down to the finish line.
Agreed. And while we have just a little bit of time before we actually get to our Z fight and we start seeing certain flags in chat, again, shout out to our runners, DarkKobold, Starman. This is a fantastically close race. I mean, you really can't make this up. This is bonkers level awesome. Also, shout out to the Restream team. My wonderful co-commentator, Smapey. It's an absolute pleasure and a treat to be able to share the comms booth with someone so amazing. Squarian doing the read streaming, Iker doing the tracking. And also, for those of you in chat that are interested, we have a Discord that has a lot of really cool, awesome people that don't bite except in days that end in Y. You can also join the Restream team. You could be us. Which
addendum there, Possum does bite the buttons, so be careful.
That's true. Yeah, they can't careful that one. But yeah, no, you could be us, which I don't know if you'd want to be, but you could do our jobs.
You could be us. Oh my gosh, the chat is just empty.
Right?
What have you done?
Exactly. You could be a restream, you could be a tracker, you can do comms, you can literally sit in front of your computer and talk about Final Fantasy IV, which is really fun. All those links are available. But yeah, follow our runners, follow our Restream team. They're pretty cool.
Thank you so much, Asuka. And yeah, Starman did take one additional fight down there. So DarkKobold is going to be going into this fight slightly ahead of Starman. Keep in mind, Starman does have that Crystal Sword, does have that Excalibur available to throw. This is... I don't even know what to say at this point. There's Z flags. Are we going to pretend we don't know what those mean, Asuka, or are we just going to talk about it?
We're good. There are 528 different options that Z could be, because you know what? Z is boring. You can't move because Super Boost sucks, y'all. So in addition to throwing the crystal at Z, there is one specific question that has to be asked. Otherwise, we end up in the Fupa room and we just get to hug Fu all day, which is not a bad thing after all. But still, what is that question, Mr. Smakety?
Whose butt are we going to kick this afternoon? DarkKobold with the cursor on screen, getting ready to point to the butt.
That was the way for that. Love it. Is it a cute or ugly butt? Does butt feel good?
All butts are cute.
Agreed.
All right, so here we go. Everything is going to come down to the execution on this fight.
And again, mind you, between the two Cecils, DarkKobold has, I believe, Excalibur. Starman has Crystal. That is probably the biggest difference here.
Crystal is out for DarkKobold. Starman starting the fight on his side. Looking to be less than a minute difference between them.
Hey, we are bloodstained today.
That is a beautiful spray.
I don't.
Is that from one of the 2D makes?
Yes. Is it Curse of the Moon? No. I think it's Curse of the Moon. But yeah, that is a really cool spray. I think this is one that Scala mentioned that she had to build from the ground up, I think.
Oh, maybe. Wow. That's fantastic.
Yep, Scala had to rebuild this from the ground up because she is heckin' good at what she does.
All right, Silk Web is out on DarkKobold's screen. That is going to nerf the first Big Bang and provide a crucial 2 layers of slow to keep Zeromus in check.
Oh, and okay, Edge did survive. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and he should have enough hit points that he'll be able to survive the Big Bang until he gets the Cure 4 out. So yeah, that is going to be, DarkKobold is going to rely on those Cure 4s from Tella to sort of top people off. On the other side, Starman has those Cure 3s to be able to do the same. He's going to use a virus to nerf the initial Big Bang here. Wow, that nuke going out on Palom. Could not ask for a better target for that. That is big.
Looks like that spoon has been darted. We do have that Crystal Sword doing 5k damage per shot. Heck.
Oh, I'm so excited I just bashed my elbow on the desk. Oh, it hurts so much I can't look away. 4,000 from that Crystal Sword. That is so much damage. Young coming in with a 2.5k himself. There's the dart of the X-Cal, 8,000 damage. Starman has put a big burst of DPS on Zeromus here, giving him a huge, huge chunk of that HP going away. There are over 100,000 HP on Zeromus that we have to get through. Oh, the adrenaline is pumping because of the pain and because of how good the race is.
Safety, don't try to nerf yourself.
I gotta. I'd be screaming otherwise.
We do have that Cure 3 coming out looking adorable. DarkKobold did get a somewhat higher roll in the Big Bang versus Starman's lower roll, but everybody's still up and running. The Cecils are doing about equal amounts of damage, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and one thing, we did get a Star Veil up on Starman's side, is going to throw a couple of spells with that Palom to add to the damage. Both runners know everything is on the line here. Tournament life at stake. They are not leaving anything on the table. They are reaching deep into the bag of tricks to do what they can here. DarkKobold relying on those Cure 2s. Young is throwing them out furiously, trying to get everybody above those that Big Bang breakpoint.
4,300 on that Ice 3. Wow. Go Palom.
Yeah, definitely not the numbers you would see if he was leveled up to Nuke, but not taking the time to do that, knowing he needs to get in this fight immediately. Palom still being able to contribute. Here's the big bang. Palom is not going to survive this. Edge might survive it. This is going to be close.
Edge survives! Oh my god!
Power of that ninja shirt, ladies and gentlemen. We talked at the beginning about that huge magic defense. Comes in huge on Zeromus, who only does magic attacks.
We have rocks!
Face on Starman! We could be looking at an upset here. Every dodges but young. 800 damage. 4,000 from Cecil. We're almost at the end. 2.5. That's the Starman takes it. Unbelievable. Behind DarkKobold, the entire race pulls through with the equipment advantage on Zeromus and is moving on to the round of 16. Unbelievable.
With a final time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 5 seconds. The 26 seed Starman has defeated the 7 seed DarkKobold. Keep those GGs going in chat, because guess who is joining us right now? Starman! Hi!
Y'all having a good time in here?
Oh, you have no idea. Watch this race back. You were 2 or 3 steps behind DarkKobold this entire race, even going into the Zeromus fight. And that crystal sword you managed to get, just being the clutch you needed, throwing that X-Cow, all that burst damage. How are you feeling right now?
Did you have side?
I was feeling okay for most of that.
Okay, you were.
It was like, I think the main thing is I decided I was not going up to the moon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was just so much value everywhere on the blue planet. There's just nothing available on the moon. Sticking down there was the play.
And I took the Darko fight because I realized, hey, all I have to do is throw a wine on Cecil and call it a day.
Yeah, talk about that final party setup and how you decided to go with setting up for Z there. What were kind of your thoughts on your composition?
I looked at it. I had no actual healers. Like, Tella does not heal. Tella sort of tops you off. So I needed Cure 3s, and I was going to need, like, a safety on my characters because, again, no real healers. So I was looking for life potions and Cure 3s.
Yeah, luckily you found them. It was a big difference. DarkKobold didn't go as deep into the shops as you did, and had to rely on Cure 2s for his Zeromus fight, and that ended up being a huge difference there.
With even just getting as much damage as you could out of like Palom with that Ice 3 that was doing bonkers levels of damage too. Like you squeezed as much as you could out of that team, and it paid off so well. Holy heck.
Because at times, it's not about who, gets in the go mode first and who gets there first. It's your setup.
Seriously, watch this back. This was fantastic. Like you were both in the sealed cave at roughly the same time. DK was there a little bit before you, but again, like you said, your setup, you had the crystal sword, and you cut about a minute or 2 off of that Z fight. Like, that was a banger of a job there, Starman.
Yeah, talk us through a little bit of your routing decisions here. Getting that early Baron key, was there ever a thought about diving through the hook route early, or was there ever any chance of maybe looking for a cheeky magma key when you saw how rude some of the bosses were down there? That was kind of a thought.
I decided at that point, I went through, I mean, my ordering decisions was I saw, I mean, the weirdest thing to see for me was the Dark Imps, let's be honest. Because it turns out the back attack spot has Mondo magic defense. Who knew?
Yeah, those Thor rages were just depressing to see.
But yeah, with that, you are officially the newest member of the round of 16. Heck, how do you feel? Like, what's your plan for preparation for next week?
Don't die.
Good advice in general.
Right? That was fantastic. Like any like last final thoughts about the sea, the race, and just anything?
I was real glad to find that like Milo and Z in the basement because I had a crystal hat on the Cecil, so he was going to take no damage. Berserk him just like sit back and relax.
Ah, that's what did it. All right.
Yeah, that anti-undead protection.
Well, yeah, with that, I hope you enjoy your Sunday, Starman. GG's again. That was a heck of a run.
Thank you, and y'all have a good afternoon.
You too. Take care, and thanks for being on and giving us one heck of a race. I think we are also joined by DarkKobold. DarkKobold, GG's, played your heart out. Just came up a little short there, but that was one of the most exciting races I think we have seen all tournament. How are you feeling?
Dark, are you on push to talk?
He's as speechless as I am. It totally makes sense.
Oh, you used all of your speech at the end there, Spade.
Well, we'll try to get him in there. And while we are, let me see if what we've got coming up here.
We have a race later today at like 7 p.m. Eastern. Did you know that?
I didn't. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we have the wonderful Vitasia versus the absolutely amazing Moonblaze Wolf at 7 p.m. Eastern on Free Enterprise. You get to hear some fantastic tones of Commander Leonhardt and Xenocat doing the comms for that, and of course Wake and Smoke with their debut tracking outing, and then the wonderful Scala Kitty will be rolling that fantastic seed. So
I'm not playing that one if he's rolling.
Right? Definitely check that one out as soon as that kicks off.
Yeah, that will definitely be one you'll want to see here. And do we have you, DarkKobold?
You're lighting up, DarkKobold? We can't hear you though, unfortunately. DK, no!
I think we're hearing a little bit of clanking. I think it might have the wrong mic set up, but we'll see if we can get this fixed here.
Gotcha. Well, while we're working on that, I mean, heck, Smapedy, heck!
Heck, indeed. I knew we were going to be in for something special here today. You know, this is the last day of the round of 32. These are all going to be elimination matches. Everybody putting everything on the line. We've seen such incredibly fast finishes here. Both the runners doing less than an hour 20 on some pretty difficult flags, honestly. This is just incredible. And just really seeing the best that we just the best play we could possibly hope to. So was so happy to be here broadcasting this. And again, big thank you to all of our Restream team for putting in the volunteer work to make it happen. Scorian rolling this beautiful seed and doing the Restream work. Ake here lighting up the buttons, making sure everybody is on task and knows what's going on. Can't do it without them, so make sure to give them all a follow. And let's see one more time if we can get in touch with DarkKobold here. DarkKobold, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, no worries.
I didn't realize it.
No worries. That was one heck of a race. Just came up a little short in the end. How do you feel about the way that all played out there?
At the end of the day, I didn't respect Ogo at Queen King Evelyn, and that was really the difference between the times. I went into that fight like, I'll just him. It's only 6k HP, and I have Xcal, and we all know Xcal goes burr. So I didn't think, oh, I should probably focus on this fight and think about what dartables I have. It wasn't until the second wipe where I was like, oh, maybe I should actually respect him. I had no respect going in that first time.
Yeah, it's that damage just accumulates so quickly, and when you don't have a dedicated, strong, multi-heal there, it's a damage race that you can easily fall behind on. But you rebounded and took care of it, and honestly, for most of this race, you were couple steps ahead, just a little bit of a gear advantage. One of the big things was I saw that you had to stock up on Cure 2s to do the healing in the final fight. Starman was down to Cure 3s in, I believe, Aggert. So that was like a big difference in that fight, too.
It was the Cure
Well, and I was out of money too.
Oh, I
Oh.
see.
That would do it.
So,
Yeah, always a problem with these flag sets.
and no available easy white mage. The other big mistake was just not leaving Sid on the moon. I should have just reset out. That would have saved a good 20 seconds, and then I would have had a heck of a lot better anchor because of the early dwarf axe. And my agility anchoring was all messed up for the final fight. I couldn't keep Palom. I needed some kind of healer, so just having Sid would have changed that for me. Probably not enough to save the race for me, but yeah.
It was
it's
seeing
just these tiny little things that kind of add up in these very close racers when you've got two incredible runners. Every little time save counts. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It was definitely an interesting twist seeing you switch from the Tele anchor to the Palom anchor for most likely that white mage reason. I definitely respect that move for sure.
Well, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I ran out of life potions. Like, I had 3 going into the moon, so that was also a dicey, let's make this grind work somehow, just because I know this is a very linear jetty seed, and there's an easy XCal, and all I have to get through this. I also know I had to grind probably more because of those Cure 2s.
And you know what? Even with all the little setbacks with the Cure 2 versus Cure 3s or the lack of life potions, the fact that your route through this was, for the most part, so clean and so high level, it was like you played your heart out there, DK, and it looked fantastic, and all of us were so impressed this entire time. Like, this was a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Do not walk away from this thinking.
Yeah, one thing I definitely wanted to comment on was how heads up it was. Just great game awareness when you didn't end up fading the Baron Basement when you couldn't do it the first time, because that ended up being a crucial part of the seed, and it was the big concern that it was going to wait till the end of the rest of the overworld checks and the underworld checks. But no, you went right back at it as soon as you felt comfortable, and that was a huge play there. So that was really great. Just awareness of your routing there.
I also hope you noticed I smacked myself in the face using Palom. I hope the audience noticed, because the moment I selected that Quake, I'm like, oh, did I just do that? And I felt like the audience needed to know that, so I gave Palom a little tap.
If I had a nickel for every time I have cast Quake on Mylon, it'd be like 20 cents, but it's still weird that it happened more than once.
I'd be.
Sorry. I'm sure that's not the first time, and I'm sure that's not the last time I'm going to do that.
We're seeing some solidarity in chat for you.
Lots of solidarity. Well, that is, unfortunately, it's going to be the end of the league for you, but you have played wonderfully all the way throughout. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you wanted to share about your experience or just your overall play in this tournament?
I'm just hopeful for Starman. He got a chance to sweep coming in 1 under because of the Swiss round, so I think this could be an awesome Cinderella story for him, so I wish him luck in the rest of the tournament. And also, I guess I just want to thank everybody for running it. It's always fun to play, even when you lose, so just want to thank all of the restreamers and all of the coordinators. A lot goes into these tournaments behind the scenes, so
GG's again. You're one of the ones I've been personally watching from start to finish, and it's been an absolute treat to watch you play.
Definitely one of the best runners here that we have in the free enterprise community, DarkKobold. Congratulations on your progress all the way through, and I hope to see you in the next one.
Awesome. Thank you all. And I do want to say that not many people thought I would make it very far in the brackets, and they're right.
Hey, I'm sorry. I can't hear you over that really high heckin' seed. Do not sell yourself short, DK. That was...
not at all.
You are amazing at Free Enterprise.
Well, thank you.
It's the "we're not worthy" meme right here.
Well, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks so much for putting on such an amazing show.
Thank you all.
GG's. Oh, but yeah.
I need to go get some water because my throat is killing me. I don't know why. And also my elbow still hurts. It's like the adrenaline's wearing off and now the pain is kicking in and I'm like, right, well, maybe I should see a doctor.
Oh, Smapey.
There's a guy down the street named Blue Guy. I'm sure he can take care of me.
He's gonna talk your ears off.
Well, as we said, we've got more free enterprise action coming to you later today. But for the moment, we are going to send you over to Rex Banner 12, one of our fantastic community members, doing some practice on the Sea Hero flags. If you've never seen those before, really, really fun way to play free enterprise. You get a hero character that gets a whole bunch of benefits that normally are granted to Cecil. Really, really fun way to play. So definitely check that out. Give them a raid. And then, 2 hours at 7 p.m. Check out the last of our round of 32, which I'm excited for. I don't know about you, Oscar, but I'm going to check that out.
I am totally ready for it. And just make sure you drink a lot of water before that one starts.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
so again, one more shout out to our runners, DarkKobold, Starman. Follow them, give them lots of love. Our behind the scenes restream team is Scorian on restream, Iker with tracking. The absolute treat, Smapey. Give them some love. Give Smapey some love. They're all really amazing people. I'm Oscar424. I'm just here for memes. And we will catch you later, all. Bye-bye.